Where I am now, better than before, through those open doors. Where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place, a tender warm embrace. Where I am now.
It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, where I am now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, all you have to do is go to Facebook, Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, and guess what? You can see us live right here in WGPL 1350 studio. And if you want to hear us all over the world, all you have to do is go to www.christianbroadcastingcompany.com, click and listen live at 1400 AM or 1350 AM, and you can hear us all over the world. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Would you, could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbors, our WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace, 95.3 FM and 1400 AM.
Facebook Live is on and popping. Let's also welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. We promise we'll shout you out.
Shout them out.
Later on. Mr. E.
Yes.
What day is it today?
Today is Hump Day.
What a wonderful hump day.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the week.
That's
you all
right.
should be up and pop.
That's right. You done made Monday, Tuesday. Now you in the middle of the week. And guess what? You only have Thursday and Friday and Saturday to go.
Absolutely. Mr. E, this is FYI Wednesday segment. What's under the hat? Issues concerning men.
That's right. Issues concerning men. Issues concerning men.
Ooh, and today
We switched it.
no, we didn't.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
E, our topic is what is under the hat? What? Wait a minute. We are talking about men and the Me Too movement. We're still talking about men now. But we're not just talking about the Me Too movement. We're trying to figure out where men fit in and what's going on, because there's a lot going on. We have some breaking news from yesterday, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's first find out, what is the hashtag Me Too movement, Ms.
When we
E?
begin to look at the hashtag Me Too movement, we found that there are seven different categories of the Me Too movement.
First of all, when was the Me Too movement started? I believe it was started in 2006.
That's right, 2006, by a lady by the name of Tarana. Yeah. The Me Too movement was founded in 2006 to support survivors of sexual violence, in particular Black and brown girls, who were the program that where we were running.
Yes.
It has grown since then to include supporting grown people, women, and men and other survivors as well as helping people to understand what community action looks like in the fight to end sexual violence.
Yes, Tarana Burke, an African-American woman, started and founded the hashtag Me Too movement.
That's right.
And
that's
it
right.
was a place where women and young girls and even some men could actually have support for sexual abuse, Mr. E.
That's right. She said she was working in Alabama at the time, living and working in Alabama at the time. And we started an organization called Just Be Incorporation. And that was about to teaching young women who we work with, helping them to develop a sense of self-worth, which we different from self-esteem, right? Our theory was that you would have to build yourself and self-worth, sense of self-worth before even having a healthy self-esteem.
Absolutely. You know, this movement has helped change bills in Congress. You know, like I said, it's a support system for many. Just certain things that's needed to protect the rights of women. And it is something that they say was birthed during the time of former President Trump's election.
Wow.
To president, as being president of. I remember the day after he was, voted in. It was so many women that had come out and just begin to march and just keep marching on because they felt like they were dealing with someone who didn't have a good uh, he didn't have good thoughts about women. He was misogynist. He just advocated for just putting women down and not really taking women serious. And they pulled together and had a march that was just absolutely something that I had never seen in this life.
You know, Miss Hinton, when they started this march, people called me a leader of the movement.
That's what they call her?
Yeah, they called her a leader of the movement. And she said, I accept it. That as a title, I guess, but I am a worker more than anything. You know, this platform, this leadership that she has taken on to help women who have to get rape kits and to for local schools around the world and sexual harassment policies to come into play. You know, sexual harassment policies is what's well needed, and men really need to and pay close attention to this harassment. It's and I can imagine how women and folks on these jobs get so sick and tired around the world, get so sick and tired of being just a piece of meat.
Absolutely. We want to bring up the breaking news. Yesterday, Trump was found guilty of sexual abuse and defamation, a case that E. Jean Carroll brought, which took place, Mr. E, years ago.
That's right.
But because of
a
law that protected someone that has been traumatized and had that experience, was able to bring that case to the court.
That's right.
And 6 men, 3 women found Trump guilty of sexual abuse, misconduct, and defamation.
You know, what Miss E. Jane Carroll had to prove into winning this case, the writer said that it was a civil trial against Donald Trump with federal judge finding the former president liable for battery and defamation and awarding the writer $5 million.
$5 million. She won her case on yesterday.
That's right. It happened in 1996. They said the panel of Manhattan Federal considered Carroll's allegation that Trump raped her in a Goodman lingerie department dressing room. Isn't that crazy?
That is
Trump in a dressing room, a woman working, and he decided that he wanted to rape that woman in a dressing room in the spring of 1996 and then defamed her in a social media post last October. Trump had denied the allegations and called The verdict, a total disgrace today.
But he was found guilty.
That's right.
And today, what we want to do, we're going to examine the Me Too movement because, like I said, after the inauguration of former President Trump, this movement just began to get bigger.
Right.
Now, remember, it started. She founded it in 2006, but it just took a life of its own, and you found men being swept.
That's right.
Into being accountable for, and a lot of stuff that they had. Certain ones had done, and we talk about high-profile men found themselves in the middle of a monster, a giant that they had to face, and they ended up being penalized very bad. Mr. E has information in a minute, but I want to ask Mr. E and men out there, are men concerned or are they afraid of the Me Too movement? Because when we, discuss some of the high-profile people and what happened, this is a force to be reckoned with. Women are not playing. They have pulled together and they said this abuse and rape and all those things have to stop. And it stops here.
That's right. And yes, men are afraid now. Men are afraid to even come close to a woman. Come close, or really they check in their vocabulary, what they're saying, and how they conducted themselves. Because this is no joke. Because some folks can smile in your face, laugh with you while you're going through. Then the next time you got a hanger or loose hanging over your head, said that you sexual abused them.
I mean, people were being called out during this time of the Me when it really started getting big.
That's right.
The hashtag Me. They were journalists, sports guys in sports, military guys, high-profile men. If you, like you said, if you even looked at a woman, it would be discussed. They let so many people go in on their jobs because women were now speaking out.
That's right. Because that. When I read this, this movement, there was 201 powerful men to lose jobs and major positions. Dealing with this Me Too movement. This Me Too movement is really a Me Too movement that says, look, keep your distance. This is my space. Don't you cross the line. Don't you say nothing out the way, or you're going to lose your career. You're going to lose your top paying job. And then you're going to have a label put upon you.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Egan, we just had the question, are men afraid of the Me Too movement? But let's go a little bit deeper. Why do men, and not all men, we wouldn't dare put all men in a category of abuse and things like that, but why is it that men have found themselves in this position of not knowing how to keep themselves distanced, to make sure they don't cross boundaries? Did it start in the caveman day? Mr. E, what is it? Because I'm saying, it has to be a certain mentality where you think you have the rights to a woman's body.
Back in the days of old, that they made men dominant. Men was dominant over women. They were the head of the house. They had rules that said, I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm married to you. I'm the boss over you. So, but then there was abusing that privilege. They was abusing the vows. They was abusing women. You tried to be a nice, happy-go-lucky fella, and because somebody else then said something out of the way, now you are target. Just like a bullseye, you are target, and folks are looking at you kind of cock at it because they saying, what? You did what? You said what?
I think the Me Too movement had to be birthed because men were getting away with it. A woman would say somebody abused, rape, or somebody, touched me in the wrong way. And it was a thing of, oh yeah, okay, really, you just overreacting, or why would somebody do that? Or, you wrong. You must have had on the wrong clothes. You must have been winking at them, you must have did something, women. And so this movement had to really, to me, be birthed to say, hold up. Now somebody needs to listen,
That's
and somebody
right.
needs to believe. And so it when it started getting huge, it began to sweep certain ones out. Mr. E, you got a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them that recently had to come to grips with the things that they were doing against women, and they had to give an account, and they found themselves in jail.
You know, Ms. Hinton, when I began to look and research about this Me Too movement, I found out that there were 7 convictions
Ooh.
and 5 charges of powerful men,
yes,
like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby and several other big name folk who did wrong. See, here's what happens. It started, when they thought they had the power, they had the juice. I heard President Trump the other day allegedly said the other day that he was a star.
Oh, he said it. That
and that he was a star,
and he could do things.
And that's what gets me so much is that's because you at the top of your game. Does that mean that you can do whatever you want to do? Are you at the lower part of your game, or do you mean to sound off like that, where you sound like you flirtations or whatever, the game may be, and why it has, and why it, folks are really looking at it in a crazy way.
Well, the thing about it, Mr. E, people flirt, people, if they see something they like, hey, oh yeah, men and women do that. But we're talking about going far and beyond the little flirting and things like that. We're talking about people crossing boundaries and they are taking by force or doing things just like with the Bill Cosby case. He's drugging women, and he's been convicted. That's why I'm saying it like that, of drugging women and doing so many different things. You've crossed the line now. You haven't just flirted. You have gone to do harm to women. You're drugging them, and who knows what you're doing to them.
That's right.
Also, who else, Miss Steve?
That's right. When you begin to look at Harvey, at Weinstein,
yeah, oh my goodness,
in 2013, he was convicted of oral sex, or convicted of doing something he had no business doing. He had 11 counts against him.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
That's right.
He was doing.
And see, but when it happens, this is the thing that gets me so much is that, why they wait later to come out. Why they waited until the Me Too movement, why they waited till 2000, why they couldn't bring it to the table then. Do you think that women would not, do you think that folks would not believe them because of who women may be?
Yeah, for who the men may be. Now, who wants to believe that Bill Cosby would do what he did?
Who wants to believe that?
Who wants to believe that a president would do that? Who wants to believe that somebody in the music industry like R. Kelly, with all those wonderful great hits, we sit up here swinging and swaying? Who wants to believe it? And that's the thing. You got powerful people with money, and then you have the people that go along with them. Well, look at Trump with the Republicans that are just like, hey, whatever, who cares? And so with that mentality, how in the world can a victim, it could be a man or a woman victim, how could a victim really stand against the giants?
Who would ever thought that a U.S. gymnastic team doctor,
yes,
a U.S. gymnastic team doctor would ever have that kind of name put on him? In 2018, 3 counts of assault, and was sentenced up to 125 years. And more than 260 women and girls.
See, they're not just doing these acts. They are threatening these people and letting them know you cannot tell. They're making vulnerable people afraid to tell. Then when people do tell, they're not believed. We have a big problem in the military with the abuse and rape and things like that. And so, who believes? Who would believe it? And so the hashtag Me Too movement had to come forth in order to make sure that women had a chance at least to voice and to have support. Miss, would you call it? LaWanda Tiller said, I'm glad we have the movement. However, there are these women taking it entirely too far. Can you please explain that second part of however these women are taking it entirely too far? In what way are they taking it too far? I know one thing, they have been instrumental in helping women to speak out and to rally around. Now, I can imagine maybe some people would say, well, you can't accuse every man of sexual assault, sexual abuse, of doing things on the job, and that's true. You can't. I don't believe women should make up stories. I don't believe you should support women that don't just want to get a man in trouble. I don't believe in that, and I don't believe that the Me Too movement should have any parts of that. But for those that have really, really gone through, and you would be surprised talking to women, not just women, girls of the lack of support for when they tell parents, when they tell school about what has happened. Even let's go down to the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church has been under scrutiny for a long time, and the alleged abuse in the Catholic Church with the boys and things like that. And so, who will believe? A lot of our young people. It is really hard because you got so many people cloaking and covering up.
That's right.
And enabling men or sexual predators and abusers to do what they do. Why? Because you got people that don't want to believe that this stuff happens.
This really happening.
And from who?
That's right. Right.
Not a priest, not a preacher, not a this, not a that, not a celebrity, not a president.
Because
you know what I'm saying?
Because when you look at it, it's just like the ex-president of the United States allegedly said he's a star.
Mm-hmm.
When you get folks in higher places and that they have been able to do whatever they want to do, where they made wrong right and they made wrong right, and folks was cloaking and covering for them. When that happens, it really gave them, thought they had the power. But that is coming down, dealing with this Me Too movement.
Absolutely.
This Me Too movement said more than twice as many Americans are supporting.
Yes.
Than opposing the Me Too movement. More than that, compared to 5 years ago, those who committed sexual harassment or assault at the workplace are more likely to be held responsible.
Yes.
For those who reported are most likely to believe it.
And that's marvelous support. And we're talking about what's under the hat, issues concerning men. There are plenty of men that are supporting the Me Too movement and standing with women that have been harassed and have been sexually abused and things like that. And so that's what it's going to take, Mr. E. It's going to take everybody coming together and standing up, just like with the case with Donald Trump. He sat back and he has been, they have, as a matter of fact, Mr. E, there's 25 women in the cubby. Just waited. I'm just telling you, 25 allegedly 25 women that have accused this man of sexual abuse or rape of some kind, and so he's going to have to come and give an account, not just for what he did to E. Jean Carroll, but for some other women. And not only that, his mentality, because I think he really put he really hurt himself by his own testimony.
Ms. Hinton, there was a poll drawn about on the workplace, and they said most said those who commit sexually harassment and assault at work are now more likely to be held responsible. Yes. 70% says they should be held responsible.
Absolutely.
For anything on the workplace. If you say something out of the way or say some, then they can hold you responsible for that. They don't have to say you're kidding, you're playing, or you're joking. Yes. They can take it to another level.
Absolutely. So what can be done, beside joining movements, men, uplifting women? men, conducting themselves in the workforce and around women, but let me say this, and one of our our viewers mentioned about, sometimes it can go too far. Let me explain something in my point of view about women that you're getting the support, you're able to have that voice, but please, you've got to really have a standard of being able to mean what you say and do what you say. You can't go around, and you can see this in the reality shows, women calling each other the bees, and they calling each other. It's pet names now,
Right,
And
right.
so when you start seeing women kind of like carrying themselves like that, now here you got the other opposite sex or other people saying, okay, well, if you're gonna call yourself those names, let's call yourself that. Let's diminish what you are as a woman. Let's start calling you the bees and all those other words because you're calling yourself that. And so
and everybody
women,
calling you
that's
that.
right. And so don't make it hard on other women by conducting yourselves wherein people can degrade you because you degrade yourself. We see it all the time on the reality shows. It's amazing the language that women use toward themselves.
That's right.
It is just amazing. And so don't make it harder on women that's trying to, keep from being harassed, raped, because we've given them people permission to really degrade who we are.
I wish that men, since we talk about issues concerning men, I wish that men would turn their radars on. Do not misjudge the language, because someone may be flirting with you. Please do not take it another step further. Just let it go. Run, hide. Do like Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump made a lot of money. Forrest Gump, he took off, run. They saying run for when that happened. It ain't like you running away or hide, but you got to be careful, especially those who in high places, especially those who has positions, because everybody likes somebody that's in with high authority, and they want to be close to the throne. So when that happens, brethren and young men, just turn your alarms on so you can't misjudge.
Absolutely. I think it starts with our boys. We've got to teach our boys to did not go over, don't cross the line.
That's right.
We've got to teach boys how to make sure that they understand when a no means no.
That's right.
Or when they're going too far. Teaching them about sexual harassment, what it is, and why you can get in trouble.
That's right. A lot of married men, you got to understand too that no means no.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when you have
single men too,
all men, everybody needs to know that no means no. It don't mean yes, and because she laugh or because that she chuckle. No means no. Do not misjudge it. Do not take it lightly.
Well, I tell you what, we need to encourage everybody to get involved in these movements. We've got to protect women. We got to protect men. We got to protect one another. We can't cross the line. You cannot by force just take and do what you want to do to people.
That's right.
And so, and men are getting in trouble. The Me Too movement have brought out a whole lot of mess, but also have held accountable men for the things that they have done. And some of them have done some heinous things to women and got by with it. Like we said, Trump, you have been found guilty, and it's more to come. You got 25 women that are sitting back just watching. And a lot of these high profile men, R. Kelly sitting in jail. You all, you just have come to the place where you cannot continue to do what you do and get away with it.
Miss Hinton, they're also the men of Me Too, two generations. There are men that are supporting it.
Yes.
There are men that saying it need to stop.
Yes.
There are men who are saying, come on, let's stop this. Let's stop this. That are supporting the Me Too movement.
Absolutely. Encourage everyone to to get under these movements so we can stop all this harassment. I tell you what, come over here for a little while on social media. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here on Fun Friday.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. Thank you so very, very much for tuning in. Don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10. 9:30 to 10 on WGPL 1350. For more information about us, give us a call at 757-714-7861 or email us at FYIRadioshow@gmail.com. Have a wonderful, wonderful hump day.
Hey, woo! Talking about a topic, but it's so much going on. We want to shout you out first, though. We got Chris Hinton. Chris Hinton, he has thebeardgods.com, one of our sponsors. LaWanda Tillett, hey, young lady. What? LaWanda Tillett said only 5 billion. She's like me. I'm like, only 5 billion. Honey. Also, who do we have? We have Sheila. I believe Sheila Davis is up here. Who else? There's so many up here that I...
We got Miss Sheila Davis. We got Miss Sheila Robbins up here. We want to say thank you all, Miss Roberta Carter. Thank you all for tuning in to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. What do you think about the topic? Ooh. What do you think about this Me Too movement? Has it gone too far, or is it well needed now? You know, is it well needed for someone to take and say, okay, fine, let's take these ladies serious?
Yes.
You know, and I also believe this, ladies, that you got to stop flirting, just, you know, and doing something. I know it may be you, but you got to stop sitting off signals that men are reading wrong.
Well, if you're sitting off signals, maybe you want the attention, but we're talking about folks that don't want the attention,
right?
And that they are being abused, harassed, raped, and all that. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about people going over the line. People is doing the extreme. People that are taking power away from folk. We ain't talking about somebody that want it. We talking about somebody that don't want it. And so the Me Too movement is saying, yes, we're going to support. But I also would hope, Mr. E, that the Me Too movement would include men, where men can teach young men and boys, you know, what sexual harassment is, what going too far is. When a woman says no, it's no. Or when a man says no, you know, we got men that are being harassed, sexually abused as well. And so, you know, and looking for signs and signals that somebody is in distress and being hurt and being taken advantage of. You know, and then when people speak out, just like with the Cosby case and the R. Kelly case and when victims speak out, everybody's sitting back laughing. How you gonna sit up here and say our president or our godfather of TV, the father Bill Clinton? How you gonna say he's a good man? He's a nice, so ignorant. We can get so ignorant with putting these people up so high. Who would think that R. Kelly, all that I believe I can fly
in the church singing it,
and all that stuff, and he's sitting up there making women eat his feces and urinating on women and abusing, won't eat, starving. But everybody's so caught up. Oh, he wouldn't do. He is just. Okay, that's how come people can get away with it, because we have folk, Mr. E, that's sitting back in La La Land thinking that these celebrities, these priests, these people in the military, and that man next door would not do what he do. And that's why they can get away with it.
We trust our children to go out to different recreation facilities to train. You know, we trust our little girls to go out. Who would ever think that a man who's a gymnast, a doctor
you gave that information,
that would examine your children, that would examine a doctor of the U.S. gymnast national team. In 2018, 3 counts of sexual assault. Sentenced him up to 125 years. More than 260 girls and women claim the abuse.
Yes.
Who would ever thought? We send our children out to basketball camps. We send them out to baseball camps.
Yes.
We send them here. We send them there, and especially if they desire to do sports. And we trust.
Yes.
The coaches, that the coaches would not, do anything that would bother our children, because we trusted them. And then come to find out that the doctors
Yes.
that we got to pay, a comedian, Bill Cosby, in 2018, he had 3 counts of aggressive assault and for drugging and sexual assault on a woman in 2004. And sentenced to 3 to 10 years in the state prison, which he is currently serving. He's still serving time, but he's home.
Yes.
And and then you got Weinstein.
Yes.
You got Weinstein, a tentative. And you got so many tentative. He's a tentative, $25 million payout deal in a mid-December with a movie.
Yeah.
And his studio board, as part of the largest of $47 million settlement, involved a civil case against him, the New York NYT reported. And then you got Weinstein, from allegation that he raped in Aspen actress and in 2013 and forced oral in the production assistant in 2006. He faced 11 counts of sexual assault in Los Angeles. And it go on and on and on. R. Kelly, we talked about him.
My goodness.
Maxwell, we talked about him. A groomer, Maxwell, Gimson Maxwell, in July, allegations of conspiracy, which convicted self-offender Jeffrey Epstein by recruiting and grooming multiple underage girls for sexual abuse.
The thing about it is, 9 times out of 10, people will not believe victims. They sit back and they taunt them, and they won't. You got young ladies that have told their mother that the daddy was molesting and do all that, and people and the mama would say, "Don't say nothing." They put stuff under the rug, and they make every excuse in the book. Look at and she tells her own story. Joyce Myers, with her dad and her mom. She said her mom knew it was going on. We got people that sit back and never believe a woman, never believe a victim, always thinking that somebody is lying. And then I'm not saying there's not, but 9 times out of 10, people, young people and children and girls and boys, when they say somebody's bothered, folk refuse to believe it.
That's right, because they say, "Oh, he don't look like that kind of person."
Yes.
"Oh, he wouldn't do that." "Oh, he was just kidding." "Oh, he was just joking." Let me tell you, I've learned myself now, when the Me Too movement came about, I've learned that no means no, and flirtation is not your style. You got to be careful how you look at a person, and how you talk. Sometimes folks think that when you're calling, he listen to him or say something, he's trying. No. Listen, young men and young women, young old men and listen. Take wisdom. Don't get out there thinking that you can say whatever you want to say to a lady or to anybody, because folk it's going to be so touchy that if you look at somebody wrong, they're going to put your butt away.
Absolutely. So look, we're going to continue this dialogue on our FYI After Dark. If you all want to be a part of the dialogue, you're going to be on our forum, talking to others or asking questions. Let me know. Just inbox me and say, "Hey, I would love to be a part of this conversation on your After Dark show." We would love to continue, because this is going to be with us for a minute.
That's right.
Like I said, there's women sitting back, waiting for their chance for justice. They are bold enough now. They have the support now. They have organizations that can, tell them how to proceed and how to get justice for the things that have happened. And this is the thing, Mr. E, you should see how things like this have affected women. I know women that have been in the military who suffer from mental illness as a result of being raped and abused, and no one wants to believe them. They don't want to support them. They make like that they are the problem, that they caused it. And so you got mental illness now associated with some of these problems. And so we want to talk about those things. We want to have people up there that have gone through the trauma, believe them for their words, believe them wherein it has stunted their life and that it has caused great problems in their lives, not just because of what has happened, but because people continue to downgrade, to just push them down and say, well, that didn't really happen. They wouldn't do that. And so for that reason, they are constantly traumatized.
Just before we move on, Ms. Hinton, I want to let you know that there are a couple of more I would like to throw out.
Oh, go ahead, Ms. D.
Benjamin Sparks.
Oh, tell us about
him. He pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor battery charge after a felony charge against him was dropped in October in Las Vegas outlet and an outlet mall. You got the chef, these chefs, that these great celebrity chef, Bartley. Mario Bartley in May, indecent assault and battery charges for allegedly groping and kissing a woman in a restaurant in 2017. Listen, these folks, this is not no joke. Me Too movement has Me Too. They are out there, and they out there to support. Everyone feels everyone's right that feels like they have been assaulted. This woman who started this, she said it really was for black and brown girls, because when you look at the slavery days back in the days of old, master would leave his home and go down to the slave barn and get that black and brown girl because he had to have one. It started so far back in the days of old. Now they saying, let's stop this foolishness.
I think, like we were saying earlier, educating, and the more men that we have to support, because every man is not doing that. Every man is not disrespectful. Every man is not taking a woman by force. And so men that, feel as though, hey, we want to see some of this stuff. We want to see all of it go away, but we want to support. We want to teach our boys how to identify, and we want to make sure that we hold accountable men that are going too far. Men hold men accountable for when you hear them talking more junk and looking as though they want to do harm to a woman, because a lot of people, a lot of men will verbalize what they want. I want to do to her and what I would do to her and stuff like that. Every man is not assaulting a woman. Every man is not doing wrong toward a woman, but the ones that feel the need to use their power to hurt and harm other men should stand up and say, look, you're on the wrong road.
That's right. And you got to let them know, whether they want to believe it or not. Listen, young men and men, you got to believe, you got to carry yourself, because the statistics show. When you look at the back of your report, Ms. Hinton, it says movement, it says view, Me Too movement varies more parties than gender. They said all who have heard of the Me Too movement strongly somewhat opposed, 21, strongly somewhat with support. 49 folk would say that 49% or 42% of men said they would support the Me Too movement, and 54 women said, yeah, we're going to support them.
Absolutely. Lawanda Tiller said, additionally, I feel that as women, we have certain conversations in the workplace, and it's expected for a man to be okay with it. Women, watch your mouth, your tongue, what you're saying, how low can you go? Sometimes you're going too low, saying too much, and you may be sitting back. Somebody may be listening and say, oh, well, she definitely wants this, or definitely she's loose or whatever. But, you make sure you give an account for the things that you do and say in the workplace.
That's right.
And, conduct yourself accordingly. So, Mr. E, wow, what a wonderful, wonderful day topic. We're going to continue this on our After Dark show, along with some other things that are coming up after dark. Mr. E, also, we're going to be doing immigration, and that's going to be another hot subject.
That's right. Miss Kirkpatrick will be our special guest. Elena Kirkpatrick will be talking about 42, the immigration. If you looked at TV, you've seen them on the Mexican border. You've seen them coming all across the world. Folks trying to get into the United States and saying that the cartel's going to kill them over there in Mexico. It's charging them $2,000 and $3,000 more to live in their own cities where they was born from. So we're going to talk about immigration. We want to let you know what's going on.
Absolutely. So we're glad for you to join us. Don't forget to join us on Fun Friday. We're going to have more topics. It's what's in your closet, issues concerning women. Don't forget, Mr. E.
And then also we're going to have a political night on Monday night where we're going to be talking with Spool, what he think about what's going on. Because the election is right around the corner.
And we want you all to go out and vote that are, having elections in your district. We want you all to participate. Things like this, the subject matter, a lot of things are going to be addressed. We're talking about abortions and a woman's rights and, the community and how we can build a better community. We can discuss those things and we can definitely be a part of making things better for our world. So don't forget to join us. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Please go to Crystal Records 1 on YouTube and subscribe. You'll see all of FYI's shows there. And we really need the numbers. We're very low on the numbers. We need for you all to go. But anyway, in the meantime, Mr. E's going to tell you how to be a special guest sponsor and intern with FYI Radio Show.
If you'd like to be a special guest or a sponsor of the most talked about radio show, After Dark or AM show, give us a call at 757-714-7861 or go to FYI Radio Show live at gmail.com and inbox us and put us all your information. If you'd like to be in our audience, just give us your information, your email, and we'll email you and let you know we want you to join us on either one of our shows. For more information, give us a call at 757-714-7861. Please join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here on the most talked about radio show on WGPL 1350, WPCE 1400, Peace 95.3, and soon to be WMVA 88.9 FM.
I want to say good morning to Sean Jones, a.k.a. Chaz. Thank you so much for joining us. You all are a blessing. Thank you so much for your support. We're going to see you back here on Fun Friday.
2 up, 2 down, VA.